Thompson called my father in front of the grill and said in a raised voice, "Marcus, your daughter has flagged an audit on your foundation's $1.8 million house." I stood right there, a paper plate in my hand, and when nearly 40 relatives formed a half circle and stared in our direction, I understood. This wasn't just an audit, it was a court of truth. It was a backyard party at our place. A normal lawn in an Ohio suburb, smoke rising from the grill, kids laughing, and a long table set with coleslaw, burger buns, and a Costco-sized bottle of ketchup. My father was standing by the grill. He had the tongs in his hand. The phone was on speaker. Thompson's voice was clear, as if he had deliberately turned the volume up. My father looked at me. He didn't smile. He didn't say anything. If this moment made your chest tighten or your curiosity spark, stay with me. Subscribe now, because what unfolds next changes everything you think you know about truth and family. I set my plate down on the table. I shifted my weight from one foot to the other. I saw my aunt's eyes widen, my cousin lift his phone, someone whisper under their breath. The flames from the grill flared up. Thompson kept talking. There are discrepancies in the foundation's assets. The property title, renovation bills, and fund transfers. There are issues across the board. My father said quietly, "This must be a mistake." I didn't say anything. I took a breath. I knew it wasn't a mistake. People moved closer. No one laughed. No one picked up a plate. Someone turned the music off. My uncle stepped 2 paces back from the grill and looked at my father's face as if he were seeing it for the first time. Thompson said, "We placed the audit flag based on your daughter's notes. She submitted the documents last month." My father didn't say my name. He didn't take the phone away from his ear. I didn't look down at the ground. I looked at people's faces. I watched who looked where. I noticed who stayed silent. When the call ended, there was quiet. The sound of the flames felt louder. My father set the tongs down on the table. He said, "The food is ready." No one picked up a plate. There was no scream in my head. No drama. Just one line I had held on to from the very first day. I had flagged the audit. People wanted to ask questions. I saw my aunt part her lips, then close them again. My cousin said, "What does that mean?" My father looked at him. He went quiet. I said, "I'm going inside." My voice was normal. I opened the door. I heard footsteps behind me. 2 people came in. Then 4. Then everyone. I placed a file on the kitchen counter. A brown folder. No label on it. I opened it. The papers were neatly arranged. I said, "This wasn't an audit. It was a question." I pulled out the first document. The property title. In the foundation's name. The address was the same as my father's new house. I placed the second paper down. Renovation bills. The contractor's company was the same one my uncle owned. The third document. A bank statement. Lines of fund transfers clearly marked. I said, "I work in compliance for the foundation. My job is to ask questions." Someone said, "This house was bought with charity money?" My father said, "Be quiet." I said, I stayed quiet. I only collected papers. Everyone was standing. No one dared to sit. I placed another document on the counter. An email printout. The dates were clear. Everything lined up. I said, "I told you last year that this didn't look right. You said I asked too many questions." My father looked at me. There was no anger in his eyes. There was surprise. Like he was acknowledging something for the first time. I didn't close the file. I said, "This didn't start today." My father always talked about the foundation. At gatherings. At church. In Facebook post. People praised him. From the beginning I had noticed some bills changed names. Some receipts came in late. Some amounts were rounded off. I had asked questions. The answers were vague. I had started my job. I learned compliance. I learned where problems usually hide. I had looked at house documents when my father asked me to fix the printer. I saw the foundation's name on the title. I didn't say anything. I took note. At parties people talked. Someone would say, "Marcus bought a new house." Someone else would say, "The foundation is doing so well." I listened. I didn't ask questions. I just built the file. One day Thompson called me. He said, "Can you take a look at this?" I said, "Yes." I requested the documents. I matched the dates. I placed the flag. I put my name on it. I didn't hide anything. In the kitchen no one was crying. No one was screaming. My mother pulled a chair back and sat down. She said, "When did this happen?" I said, "Slowly." My uncle said, "This is wrong." I said, "It's written down." I placed the final document on the counter. My notes. I had clearly written why the flag existed. I had written that it went against the foundation's purpose. I had written that there was a conflict of interest. I said, "I didn't defame anyone. I read the law." My father said, "Why did you do this to me in public?" I said, "I didn't call anyone. The call came to you." Silence spread again. Outside children were laughing. Inside the adults were quiet. I said, "What happens next is an audit. I won't step back." No one could say I was wrong. No one could say I was right. Everyone just watched. The next day an email came. There was a foundation board meeting. I attended. I placed the file down. I said the same things. I didn't name anyone. I only showed the papers. The investigation started. The contractor had altered receipts. Clarification was requested on the title. Funds were frozen. My father hired a lawyer. I hired one too. I cooked dinner at home. I bought vegetables from Walmart. I dropped kids off at school. Life stayed ordinary. Messages came from relatives. Some supported me. Some accused me. I didn't reply. I did my job. Months passed. Questions increased. Decisions came. The foundation reclaimed the property. The contractor's contract was terminated. Fines were imposed. Some money was recovered. No names appeared in the newspaper. It was settled through agreements. My father wanted to talk to me. We sat down. He said, "I thought everything was fine." I said, "I thought the law was the same for everyone." We didn't shake hands. We didn't shout. We just ended the conversation. At parties now my name is mentioned less. There are fewer posts about the foundation. The house is the same but the owner has changed. I'm still at my job. I keep my files in order. I didn't punish anyone. I just straightened the line. That day in the yard when the flames were burning and people stood in a circle listening, I saw this clearly. Truth doesn't need a stage. It shows up on its own. If this story resonated with you, please take a moment to like the video. It truly helps more people find stories like this. Subscribe to the channel for more real, powerful narratives about truth, family, and quiet strength. Thank you sincerely for listening, for your time, and for being part of this community.